Hello there, my YouTube family. Thank you so much for tapping in and watching. I hope you find some value here. And today's video is just about why clients choose me. Some of you may see me in these internet streets and you're like, what does she really do? What does she offer? I see this or I see that. But everything I do, number one, it comes from the heart, and it's all about helping others first and foremost. That is like my core mission. I really like to help others. I love sharing what I've learned, especially if it will benefit them. It will save them some time from going through all the leg work or the heartache of trying to figure it out themselves. So that is why I'm making this video, to shed some clarity. And who knows, maybe you might choose to become a client of mine. So as I dive into my notes here, first of all, some of you know me as a life coach. Some of you know me as a notary public or a marriage officiant. I'm also a certified paralegal. And so the joke in my family is Veronica can marry you and then you can go through the other door and she can divorce you too. But I'm hoping that we can avoid divorces, because here in America we have a high number of divorces, and I think it's, a few different things that contribute to that, but I'll say that for another video. Let me get back on topic. So thank you for sticking with me. So first of all, I'm not just a coach. I'm a survivor, a mother, a guide, and a woman who has rebuilt her life more than once. I'll pause there, let that sink in. Yes, more than once. I'm not ashamed of it because I've learned a lot. Sometimes I had to keep taking that test over and over until I passed that final exam. And for that, I think it has made me a better person, a better mentor, a better coach. Definitely every day I'm still learning to be a better mother, although all of my kids are grown, but I'm still learning to be a better mother on a daily. So I've walked through breast cancer 3 times, 2020, 2021, and 2023. And by the grace of God, I am still here, and I've been able to learn some things about me. It's not just about, the environmental things. They definitely contribute. My health in general. Yes, I could use some room to shed some pounds. That would definitely help. But I think the most important thing that triggered breast cancer in me 3 years in a row was stress. The tremendous amount of stress. And stress can kill. I thank God that He gave or had grace with me and was patient with me and was able to let me get that department cleaned up. It's not perfect, but I've learned to deal with stress a lot better, and it starts with being able to say no and not regret it, and doing exactly what Veronica wants to do outside of what I need to do, responsibilities. But I've learned to say no and not take on things that I really don't want to do or that are really going to cramp what I'm working on for my life. And it's not selfish, it's self-full. Yes, had to learn that. So, in addition to going through breast cancer, I've raised children as a single mom and as a foster parent. I've been married. I've gone through divorce. I've gone through domestic violence and so on. So, not a fun time in my life, but I learned a lot of valuable lessons about me. And sometimes we don't I wouldn't say cause certain situations, but we don't listen to our instincts, and we let society dictate some of our choices. Like, oh, you're a certain age, you should be married, you should be having children, oh, you should, be striving for that big house, that new car. And we don't look at our initial instincts when your instincts are possibly telling you, that person ruffles your feathers, which, I ruffle people's feathers too. But what I mean is they ruffle your feathers in the wrong way, and you might be like, oh, I'm just a little negative. I need to be, more considerate and so on. No, when, your gut tells you something, listen, because it can not only cause heartache for you, it can also cause heartache for the people that love you and that are in your life, family, friends, and so on. So always listen to your gut. I have a problem with getting off task, so you guys bear with me. Like I said, stick with me to the end because I have some things, some tips that may be valuable to you. So yeah, hang out with me to the end. It shouldn't be much longer. Again, I thank you for being here. And if this resonates with you, if this is your first time here, please be sure to like. I love receiving comments. All I ask is that you be respectful. Everybody has feelings, and some people say words don't hurt, but they can hurt. So just be respectful and know how you want to be treated, and I will do the same. And I usually answer my comments within 24 to 48 hours. So please keep that in mind. And again, if you're new here and this resonates with you, you're vibing with me, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you'll know when I'm uploading a new video and when I get brave enough to go live. Okay, so again, getting back on track. So as I mentioned, I raised children and foster children as a foster parent. I have been married, and yeah, so I've started over, after loss, after trauma, hard seasons. So I know what it means to survive. And more importantly, I know how to help others thrive. So through my business, Get Your Act Together, I offer more than just services. I offer strategy, support, and soul. Whether you're looking for life coaching, notary work, garden therapy, or a simple reminder that you're not alone, accountability, I'm here to help you take the next step. Excuse me. So I created this space for people who are navigating real life transitions with single parenting, reentry after incarceration, healing from trauma, downsizing after 50, all the messy, powerful moments where we get a chance to rewrite our story. So I will touch on, like, I mentioned, I've gone through domestic violence. I know what that looks like. I know what narcissistic abuse looks like firsthand. So this is not just something where I've gone to school for. Yes, I've have gone to school and I've got certifications in paralegal and health coaching, and I've been a life coach since 2005. Same thing for being a notary public here in Nevada and for a short time in California. But incarceration and single parents, that kind of strikes me. It's like close to my heart. Reason being, being an African American woman from the city of Los Angeles, growing up in South Central LA, seeing many people incarcerated, some due to their acts of their own, some because of lack of funds, lack of education. You're forced or coerced into taking deals that are really not deals, and seeing, a system that is, I guess, more about, convictions, and, some places call it correctional. But for me, it's just housing. Yes, I don't get me wrong. You commit a crime, I do believe that you should do the time. But when you are housing all these people and then those that are getting out, you're letting them out into a situation that they're really not prepared to come back into, especially if, they have initially come from a broken home where they don't have that support while they are incarcerated. You know, just simple things like, writing a letter, for someone that's incarcerated. Say, for example, in the state of California, the prisons are on lockdown, and from my understanding, for them to do different, um, I guess, searches and so on, looking for drugs and just contraband and so on. But imagine someone being locked up 23 hours a day with somebody else in a small bathroom. Some people have large bathrooms, so I won't even just say, a bathroom, because your bathroom could be humongous. But just say, an average apartment size bathroom. They're locked up with people that are broken also. They've come from environments where possibly there's generational incarceration. So that's all I know. That is their mentality for some, not all. Or, well, my dad has gone to jail, this is what it's about in this gang life, that's my destiny, that's where I'm going. I've heard stories like that. And like I said, growing up in South Central LA and seeing many of, friends, family go through that roller coaster, it not only affects the person, it affects the family, and it does affect the community. I know that, we want to be a country that's hard on crime, but in my opinion, we need to be hard on drugs, because so many people are incarcerated for substance abuse. And many times people, and like I said, I don't know all the stats for everybody, but many times people turn to drugs. It is a way to escape. Say you are, that single mom, you are that single mom that's, you know, didn't have all the tools you needed to go through adulting without being, cared for by a man. And say this was a man that made his living, maybe robbing at night, selling drugs during the day. Just an example. So this person leaves and goes off, to jail, prison, and so on, and you don't have those skills. So again, single parenting and people affected by incarceration is dear to my heart, and I'm just doing everything I can as a person to try and change some of that. And I do believe it begins with education. Doesn't necessarily have to be formal education. It could be as simple as picking up a book and reading it. Get done with that book, pick up another book and read it. You're enjoying this reading stuff and you want to, get in community with others. It may look like picking up that book and going to a book club. Even if you can't go in person, it may look like a book club online. So again, I think literacy is, one way to power through that and possibly reduce that, along with, literacy for youth. I think, more funding should be going into making sure our kids have a solid foundation by third grade, because if they don't, statistics show they will, potentially struggle, and that could also trigger them thinking about not finishing. And we know not finishing, primary school is not good. Even with a high school education, things are tough in this nation. So without even a primary education, it's even tougher. But again, there are so many things that add to that. Like I mentioned, with the incarceration, the substance abuse. So you have a child that's growing up in that environment. sometimes school is the last thing on their mind, especially when they don't know where that next meal is coming from. Again, let me get back on track. That was a sidebar, but you know where my heart is, and again, why my clients choose me. So, also, whether you're looking for life coaching, notary work, garden therapy, or like I said, that simple reminder that you're not alone, accountability is my middle name and organization. So again, I'm here to help you take the next right step. So, as I was mentioning in my sidebar, I created this space for people who are navigating real life transitions. As I mentioned, single parents are, dear to my heart. So that is why I, created this space. It's a combination of the things that I've, possibly gone through firsthand, or people that I've helped navigate these circumstances. So again, all of this messy, powerful moments are ways and opportunities for us to rewrite our story, because your past is not your future and it does not define you. People can change if they want to change and do the work. So as I mentioned before, please watch the end because I got some info for you that I think you might be interested in. So clients that work with me choose to work with me initially is because I listen. I listen to what your concerns are, and I try to put myself in your shoes and think about how I would feel, how I would navigate this. It's about empathy. So it's not just about, a business for me. So with that being said, what I do with my clients outside of primarily listening, because a lot of times when you're talking, you usually are close to that resolution. You just need maybe a little help, a little direction. And that's where I come in, because I guide, I equip, and I stand beside you as you take control of your next chapter. My mission is rooted in compassion, accountability, and transformation. This is more than a business to me. I feel it is my God-given calling. So, if you're ready to simplify your life, heal what hurts, and move forward with clarity and peace, I'd be honored to walk with you. So please feel free to visit my website, and that's www.softerlifebeyondtrauma.com. Again, that's www.softerlifebeyondtrauma.com. So as I promised, those tips that I was going to offer, please, again, visit the website and you will find free softer living tips. And you can find out, some of the things that I'm offering. And please feel free to inquire about upcoming events. I have not uploaded that to the website as of yet, but I will be starting another round of group coaching, and a book club is possibly in the mix. Also, as I mentioned, childhood literacy is dear to my heart. Some of you know that I was a mentor with AmeriCorps, and yes, we were doged, but that's a whole nother topic. And I served here locally in the greater Reno area through the United Way of Northern Nevada and the Sierras. And so we work with children from K through 5, but I primarily work with K through 2 this last season. So since we're not quite at the point of resuming services, I think funding is still being figured out. What I do is I still try to give back to the community. So, and that's through my Reading Ronnie retreat. So you can find information about that on all my socials, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. And please feel free to join me. I'm still finding my way, so, but I'm still brave enough to get on camera and read out loud to our younger generation. And I hope that it especially helps single parents, because a lot of times you're tired and overwhelmed. Not saying that two-parent households are not, but that may be a way for you to get a few moments alone while they're watching Reading Ronnie Retreat. So again, please check out the website. Get number one, the softer living tips, and number two, check out Reading Ronnie Retreat. So you can get possibly some free time, or, you know, sit and watch with our young people as I read aloud to them. So I want to thank you again so much for tapping in and chilling with me, and so I can give a little bit more clarity on what I do and what I offer the community. And what I mean by the community, yes, my local community and worldwide. Primarily, my services are administered online. So again, feel free to visit the website. And if you're interested in booking, please do so. Again, thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me. And again, please like if this is something that resonated with you. Please comment if you have any questions, concerns, or comments. Just be respectful, and I will ditto that. I will respond respectfully. If not, I may not respond. And again, be sure to subscribe. And if you want to really do me a big favor, share this with a person you think this would be useful to. On that note, please be blessed, and remember to be a blessing to others, and do not let others allow your light to dim, because you have a light and you have a purpose in this world, and we are so grateful to have you. Bye for now. See you in the next video.